Friends, this story is about a boy who comes to know about his father's affair. And that boy makes physical relations with this girl. So what will happen next with the boy? Watch the full video to know this. Hello everyone, welcome to Movie Recap. Let's see Thomas at the beginning of the movie, who is a college dropout, and he has come to the gallery with his friend Minnie. Thomas is wondering what to do in his life. He himself does not know this, and that is why he is struggling these days. Thomas's father works in a publishing company, and he wants Thomas to become like him, but Thomas wants to do everything on his own. Thomas loves Minnie, but it is one-sided love. Minnie tells Thomas while walking through the gallery, "Because of some work I will have to shift to another place." But Thomas does not feel good after hearing this, because there is only Minnie in his life whom he loves very much. That's why he stops Minnie from knowing that we don't know what is happening between us. Here when Thomas talks to her about the night when both of them had a relationship, Minnie says that whatever happened to her during the day, we are in it. There is no fault of the people because we were drunk. Here we come to know that Minnie already has a boyfriend. Don't want to have any further relationship with Minnie Thomas. But this upsets Thomas and he comes home. But then he sees the old man of his building. Tell him that you are looking very upset today. What if it is a girl's matter, and if so I can help you. But Thomas doesn't tell them anything here. The old man is Thomas's new neighbor and his name is Gerald. Thomas comes back to Gerard after some time, and he shares his problem with him. On this Gerald says that I end this future, all these things keep happening, but if you go away from it, it will come to you. Now Thomas does not understand anything of Gerald's words. And the same night Thomas has dinner with the whole family. That Thomas's mother is unstable. At the same time, her thoughts do not match with Thomas's father. Thomas has seen his dad with a girl, and seeing this he gets disturbed. Now because his mom was mentally unstable. That's why he doesn't tell his mom anything about this. The next day, Thomas meets his dad at a bar to discuss the topic. But here he doesn't say anything and spends the night drinking with Gerald. And here Gerald asks her about her career, what he wants to do next, but even Thomas himself did not know the answer to this question. So Thomas tells about this when he was young. Then he used to write stories. But his dad never encouraged him for this. After this, Thomas, along with Minnie, starts keeping an eye on Johann. But here Johanna recognizes him, and if she starts talking to him, Thomas is shocked to learn how Johanna knows him. On which Johanna tells Thomas that she works as an editor in her father's office, requests her to go away from her father on whom Johanna lives. That you are still a child and you don't know anything properly. Then here Johann tells you that sometimes we want to do what we shouldn't. Like you wanting to sleep with me right now makes Thomas feel weird, and he goes from there. The next day, Thomas meets Johanna again and requests her to stay away from his dad's life. But John was already disturbed, because Thomas's dad wanted to marry her. That night, Thomas shares everything with Gerald, and Gerard also understands what Thomas says. That Thomas has started liking Johann. When asked, Thomas is reluctant at first but later accepts it. The next day Thomas goes to his dad's party with his mother. Johanna would also have come here, but she would have come with a rich person. So when Johanna is alone, then Thomas asks him how much money did he take for tonight. Now Johann gets angry because of this, and an argument starts between the two, but while arguing, both come closer to each other. And here both kiss for the first time. Then after some time we see both of them forming a relationship. And somehow Thomas also felt no different. That's where he started loving. He also tells this to Gerald. Gerald says that sometimes what we think is not true. Now after hearing this, Thomas is unable to understand anything again. The next day Thomas's dad calls him. Then he felt that maybe dad had come to know about him and Suanna. But nothing like this happens here. Instead his daddy asks him what he has to do. But at the moment even Thomas did not know the answer to this question. After this, Thomas goes to Gerald's room to meet him, but where Thomas does not find Gerald, Thomas finds a book, which shows that Gerald is a good writer. He is writing about Thomas's life. While leaving from there, Thomas sees that the relationship between his daddy and Suanna is still going on. Minnie asks him about the party as Thomas and Suanna went missing in the middle of the party. That I know you are not that kind of guy and nothing can happen between you and Suanna. That same night Thomas and Johann meet back, and let's build a relationship. From here again Thomas tells Johann that you should stay away from my dad's life. She is badly torn between father and son, and she gets confused about what she should do, but then she decides that she will leave both of them and go away. The next day Thomas sees that John speaks angrily to his dad, which makes Thomas feel that Johann has abandoned his dad. Then one day Thomas goes to his grandfather's party. He also takes his mother with him wherever he goes. Thomas's father sees his wife and praises her. And on the other side, Suanna was also present at the party, and he doesn't like seeing all this. And she goes to the rooftop where Gerald meets her, and tells him that I know him very well. What are you going to do? But remember one thing. If you do this, Thomas will not leave you. Gerard indirectly tells Johan to stay away from Thomas. Hearing everything here, Johanna gets scared and leaves from there. While leaving, Thomas notices Suanna, and comes close to him, but here Suanna says while pushing him away from her, that your dad has proposed me for marriage. Now hearing this, Thomas gets angry and angrily goes to his dad. But here he calms down after seeing his mom, and goes away from there because these days Thomas had started staying away from her and Mimi had also broken up with her boyfriend. Here Thomas also did not touch anything and he tells Mimi about the relationship between him and Suanna. Hearing this, Mimi feels very bad. She leaves Thomas. The next day Thomas's mom sees Thomas. Then he seemed very upset. Then he asks Thomas the reason. This time Thomas avoids the matter. Then Thomas goes to the office and tells everything to his dad. And then Suanna also follows him there. Here Thomas's dad starts fighting with Thomas, and go away from there. Suanna then sees a photo of Thomas, which was kept on his daddy's desk. When Thomas sees this photo, Gerald is also present in it. When Thomas asks Gerald about this, he comes to know that in reality Gerald and Thomas's mom and dad were mutual friends. And when Thomas's mom and dad got married, then they were not able to have children, on which Gerald helped them. It meant that Thomas is Gerald's son, that he fell in love with his mother. But then he had to leave everything and go away from here. But now I am away from you, don't want to stay. So I shifted here so that I could be closer to you, and now I want to bring out the best in you, and make you a successful writer, which was your passion. After this Thomas goes and shares all this with his mom, and he finds out that everything Gerald said was true. After this we are shown a scene after 1 year, where Thomas published his first book, and he was getting very good response. The same is with John, Thomas's father. So Gerard talks with Thomas's mom. Thomas is happy to reunite his biological father with his mom. This movie ends here with someone